It's 4:46. My second upload today is a little bit more serious. It has to do with personal boundaries and personal perspectives and personal identity. So since I've started uploading, there have been people in my proximity that are strangers technically, and that have been helping themselves to my identity. There have been alterations, as I've mentioned, to the facts. They've decided to edit a few records. They've decided to harmonize with me, apparently. And they have been advocates, apparently, of good faith and good practice and good politics. So, as I've mentioned, there's been a few renovations since 2018. I conducted a few tasks in 2017, 2018 that positively affected At Home and Abroad. Those have been disrespected, and the political flag has been flying in different directions, and the faith flag has been flying in different directions as well. So I find it quite astonishing. I'm living on my own, and there's measures that the government are to respect with regard to this person. I'm in a place where there are very serious intrusions after occurring since 2019. Now, the issue of proximity and the issue of breaking and entering and privacy being disrespected, that's all quite serious. Now, it's quite dangerous as well that my name has been slandered to the extent that it's been slandered, considering my achievements in my professional portfolio as a humanitarian. So there have been recovery initiatives in different senses of the word, and there have been people prospering from this circumstance that originated with my personal qualifications. So this little community has decided to think it's in a position to impinge and encroach and intrude on a person's personal identity from different perspectives. As I've mentioned, there's been the abuses of faith, there's been the abuse of politics, and there's been the abuse of wealth that doesn't belong to people that haven't been working for it or earning it. Now, as I have my own personal identity, I find it quite astonishing that anyone would be impetuous enough to think that they have, at any premature stage of any process, any demonstrative input or decision-making input into an adult qualified professional property owner married mother. So I'm tolerating quite a lot of morbidity. I'm experiencing people suffering from identity issues, and I'm experiencing people offending my good name. So there's been an obstruction since the Ombudsman heard from me since 2017. Now, the two plain dress guards that arrived at that accommodation in County Limerick, where I was fully entitled to treat my child and I to our little vacation of a weekend. The two plain dress guards that arrived without any identification or without any prior supervision care order issued by TUSLA, or that didn't have any grounds or basis to be encroaching or even arriving at the place where we were staying. That's all a part of the offences that I'm experiencing. So those two guards were reported to the Ombudsman for Gardaí. Now, we know what has happened in this country prior to 2018, and I'm still experiencing individuals that have obstructed and perverted the process to accommodate their egos and their lies and their offences. Now, unfortunately, all of that which they have already conducted has cost other people's lives as well, and reputational damage has occurred also. So TUSLA Child and Family Agency, without a supervision care order, without fulfilling its obligations to my child and I, have illegally withheld my baby boy from me. Now, there are other problems that have arisen out of this because they couldn't do their jobs properly. They couldn't address the problems that they were making. And now it's gone to a different level where there are individuals in my proximity where they have no right to be. I'm a protected citizen. Now, whether they are obstructing not just the true course of justice or the professional objectives of a qualified educator, humanitarian, etc., that they can't even have the common decency to acknowledge what has come about as a consequence of hate crime in 2017 when it first commenced. That's unfortunate, because COVID arrived after that, and that was from my work. So I'm confronted with people that are undignified, without integrity, without common sense, without a sense of professionalism. And for goodness sake, I've heard about the morality police and I can't stop laughing. I'm smiling through all of this and I'm wondering, how in the name of good God could they be talking about morality police when they can't even respect the Constitution? I'm seriously concerned for those in the field of psychology, anyone suffering from identity issues and encroaching on a person that they don't know or have no right discussing. I'm very concerned for you. Recovery and mental health, etc. You know, there's a history of some people that have suffered from awful issues, and I have such huge concerns for their children or the children that they're setting this example to. So TUSLA have commenced a problem with an innocent mother and child, fully sound, sane and sober, and it was to accommodate the false reporting of the repeat offenders of slander from 2006 that to this day are still false reporting, and not one dignified, honourable representative respectful of the Constitution and the democracy. We all have respect for our Constitution in Ireland, I hope anyway. Those that can't even uphold the values of the Constitution, I'm concerned about them discussing morality when basically they're encroaching and stepping over lines of a private royal citizen. So this tells me that it's pot and kettle, really, quite honestly, and it's double standards all the way. And there's individuals out there deluding themselves with their capacity or lack of thereof, with circumstances that they are taking credit for that they haven't earned and that they're not qualified to be discussing. So the issue is getting worse every day, as I've mentioned. I'm owed a fortune, and I'm living on €208 a week to satisfy the narcissists out there that can't have a bit of respect or common sense or common courtesy, and they only seem to have a penchant for problem making. So they can't do their jobs properly. I'm going to be highly critical because I've tolerated quite enough, to be quite honest, and being a mother in a democracy and not knowing where my child is, I have awful concerns for anyone in the field of education or recovery advocacy. So my child is a missing person. In the meantime, there are individuals that think they're going to be continuing their false reporting, and they have no concern about the name they're defaming. So I'm concerned for those that are cooperating or assisting or corroborating with anyone deluding themselves about what they have owing or what they have been gaining from me. This situation has disrespected the